What is up, everyone? Welcome back to Opera Anna. Welcome back to my channel where I, Anna, an opera singer, am here to opera up your life. Today we are looking at the top 5 comic operas that you need to run, not walk, to go see if you are just starting out on your opera journey. And also if you haven't seen them before, like, go. Last week we took a look at dramatic operas that are great for beginners. So if you're more into like Downton Abbey than Modern Family, make sure you check out those operas after this. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, follow Opera Anna on Instagram to opera up your life every day, and let's get into the good stuff, shall we? There's just no one, and the whole day is just waiting for you. I'm just like, so much fun. Just like last time, these are not ranked in order from best to worst or worst to best, worst to best. So if you can't find number 1 on your local opera house's season announcement, rest assured, number 5 is just as recommended. So I forgot to mention it last time, but of course there was some forethought going into this list so that you can be sure that you're getting the highest quality recommendations from me, from Opera Anna. The opera must have at least one famous aria or famous chorus work. If it's not recognizable, it's going to be, in my opinion, a little bit harder to really connect with the music. As a first-time opera goer, this is very specific. It must be part of the standard opera repertoire so that it's easy to find. We're not going with some like random thing that's never been performed except for the one premiere but happens to be hilarious. If it was that funny, it would be in the standard repertoire. I'm just saying. And number 3, for this list specifically, it has to be funny. Duh. Believe it or not, comic operas, or opera buffa, actually appeared later than opera seria that we looked at last time, in order to provide some sort of comic relief for all the heavy drama that was happening on stage in opere serie. Theaters would have things called intermezzi that they started to incorporate in between acts, in between operas even, oh my god. And this eventually became an entirely new genre. Given the passionate debate in the comment section on my last video, I have included a runner-up this week. I could only include one Singspiel in this list, just my own rule. It's not like it's one of the testaments or something. But this opera is also just as well known as quite a lot of other ones, and I had to think of a way to include it somehow. The runner-up for this week is none other than Die Fledermaus, or The Bat, from Johann Strauss II. For those of you who don't know, Singspiel is a sort of German version of Italian opera buffa, but it has one big difference in that the dialogue, whereas in Italian opera would be the recitativo, the speech-like singing, here is just spoken dialogue, so spoken German. Die Fledermaus is performed quite often today, so the chances of you finding it on an opera house listing are very, very high. But unfortunately, it had to take a backseat to the Singspiel that is coming later. Any of my opera people know what I'm gonna list later? So there are lots of shades of gray between opera seria and opera buffa. And just like Don Giovanni, which I included in the top 5 dramatic operas for beginners, today's number 5 is a dramma giocoso, which quite literally means a drama with jokes. L'Elixir d'amore by Gaetano Donizetti. L'Elixir d'amore, which means the elixir of love, is giving me unrequited love. It's giving me drunken dancing in the square. It's giving me gorgeous music, honey. Yes, not only does it include this gem of a scene, Pavarotti, the dancing. Oh my god. I'm obsessed with Pavarotti's dancing. We need more Pavarotti dancing. Like, it's everything that I need in my life right now. It also includes this gorgeous music. Stop. I can't handle it. It's so gorgeous. This aria. I'm aware that these are both tenors, and maybe I have a soft spot for tenors, okay? Leave me alone. Leave me alone. So, L'Elixir d'Amore follows the story of Nemorino, who we just saw, whose unrequited love for Adina makes him just the town fool. But when he gets a love potion, Elixir, from a traveling salesman, Dr. Ducamara, and subsequently starts to ignore Adina, she starts to think there's more to him, and they fall in love. Solid relationship base. 10 out of 10. Highly recommend. I love this opera so much. It's fun, it's witty, and Una votiva lagrima, the aria I just showed you, might be the most gorgeous piece ever written for oboe and voice. It's just, gorgeous. Gorgeous. Gorgeous, darling. You look marvelous.
Look marvelous. Absolutely marvelous, eh?
So coming in at number 4 is arguably one of the funniest operas to date from a composer who is not generally known for his sense of humor. Number 4 is Falstaff by Giuseppe Verdi. Verdi's very last opera was a far cry from his standard repertoire of Aida and Otello. I included one of his operas, La Traviata, in the last video that I did. So like dichotic. I lost it. No, that's not right. I can't speak English. Okay, great, good to know. Just such a far cry from his standard repertoire. Gioacchino Rossini, who was the comic opera dude of his day, ever the jokester and apparently the pusher of buttons, said that he didn't think Verdi could write a comic opera.
You couldn't hit water if you fell out of a boat. Where's your killer instinct?
A successful comic opera, at least, because he did write one early on in his career called Un giorno di regno, but it kind of crashed and burned, and it's never done, as you can probably guess. While no aria or chorus work actually sticks out in this opera, and I know I'm breaking my first rule on the conditions of making it to this list, but shut your mouth. Despite that, it is an opera that allows singers to show their comic timing with the musical genius of Verdi, and it is just I can't deal with it. That chest voice, oh, I feel attacked. Stephanie Blythe, queen. Oh my goodness. Oh, she reminds me of horn because it has like such good resonance. But this is not Ari explained. No, let me explain. There's a lot of moving parts in this opera, so stay with me. Sir John Falstaff, who we just saw, is in desperate need of money to pay off all his debts. So he sends identical letters to Alice Ford and Meg Page, asking them to accept his invitation of love and just burning passion that he has for them, and that he wants them to come over. Obviously, because they're not stupid, they realize that they both got the exact same letter and decide to get back at Sir John Falstaff by both letting him think that they're interested. And yada 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 yada, he ends up being tossed into the Thames with the dirty laundry. Okay, so obviously I skipped over a lot of it. It's hilarious. Go see it. Number 3, and the winner of the intense Singspiel debate that I had in my head earlier before when I was putting this script together. Say it with me. The Magic Flute by Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart. Oh, you've never heard of it? Yeah, I beg to differ. Here we go. Oh my God! Holy Lord, that's a high effort. Enough said. Being a Singspiel, like I explained before, there's both singing, obviously, and speaking going on in this opera. The plot has lots of stuff happening, but suffice it to say that Tamino, a handsome prince, gets lost in the woods and is hired by the Queen of the Night, yes, that one, to save her daughter from the, again, evil Sarastro. After seeing a picture of the daughter, Tamino falls hopelessly in love with her and goes to find her with the help of a bird catcher, a Vogelfänger, called Papageno. They get into lots of shenanigans. Tamino has to go through tests to win Pamina. There's a Freemasonry aspect of it because Mozart was into that. Sarastro isn't actually evil, and they live happily ever after. The music in The Magic Flute is so well known and so popular that I'm not even sure I know it because I'm an opera singer or because of the influences coming from outside that world, from like commercials or, you know, whatever. Did I know Queen of the Night before I became an opera singer? I honestly don't know. I really don't. Which brings us to number 2, from which I can definitely say I know from cartoons. Number 2 on the list is Il Barbiere di Siviglia by Gioacchino Rossino. Rossino, yes, Rossini, the Barber of Seville. And why do I know it from cartoons? Well, oh my god. Figaro fertilizer. I cannot. Okay, we'll stop here. But yeah, that was all music from The Barber of Seville. So they literally based this entire Bugs Bunny episode off of Figaro's character from The Barber of Seville. So in the opera, we learn that Conte Almaviva, disguised as a poor student, or Lindoro, is in love with Rosina. But Rosina, unfortunately, is not allowed to leave the house where she's being educated? Maybe? The house of her tutor, Bartolo. She's not allowed to leave the house. Almaviva then enlists Figaro's help to win her hand, simultaneously outsmarting Bartolo, who, surprise, surprise, also wants to marry her. Gross. Gross. He's like 60. You're shocked?
Don't be shocked. You're shocked? You're shocked?
This opera is so famous that we've actually already looked at not one but 2 arias from it in the Aria Explained. But don't just go for the arias, go for the ensembles, which are just, I mean, what? They're crazy. Like, Rossini is all fireworks and all spectacle and show off. It's just craziness what happens on stage. It's so funny and the music is so great. You will love it. Speaking of ensembles, number 1 on our list has ensembles so epic that the composer himself wrote to his father as he was writing them to basically brag and say how genius the buildup of these finales were and how much everyone in the public was going to love them. In any case, number 1 on our list is The Marriage of Figaro by Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart. Not only is it basically just hits that you get from this opera, every single aria, duet, ensemble is just one after another, like genius, and sticks in your head when you go home. Like you can't decide what to have an earworm about because it's just all great. It was an iconic point in history that this opera was written, marking one of the first times that realistic actual people were put on stage instead of like gods or mythological characters. Those are the same thing. Being depicted on the opera stage. Of all the operas on this list, it is by far the most performed and follows a story of Figaro, obviously, and Susanna, who are getting ready to be married that same day. But the one big snag in their plan is that the Conte Almaviva, yes, that one, wants to impose what is known as the droit du seigneur, which is the right of the emperor, or the conte in this case, to sleep with a bride on their wedding night before she actually sleeps with her husband.
Wow.
And even though the conte had abolished this when he first came into power, Susanna just gives him the feels, you know? Figaro sets into motion his plan to get the better of the count, and Susanna and the countess set into motion their plan to get back at him. All of this involves the countess and Susanna switching clothes, Cherubino the page boy jumping out of a window, and Figaro and Susanna finally getting married. It's hilarious, mischievous, witty, and in my maybe not so humble opinion, because let's face it, I'm broadcasting it literally to you guys on the internet, the perfect option for the first time opera goer. So what do you guys think? Do you agree with my top 5 plus 1 runner-up? Did I pick one that you think, oh, I don't know, no, not so much? Let me know in the comments below. What operas would you guys include in your top 5? Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you guys learned something and were able to opera up your life. Let me know if you have seen any of these operas or which one you will go to for the first time. Have a wonderful Sunday, everybody. I will see you next time. Addio. Subscribe.